Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, I am going to be showing you how to find your body shape based on your measurements, and we're just going to be using 4 different measurements. So before we get started, you will need 3 things. You will need a pen, a piece of paper, and a trusty tape measure. These are all you need, and the reason that you need to know your body shape is because not all trends and styles work for all body shapes. And if you know your body shape, it is the fundamentals, it is the basics. Now, there are approximately 48 different body shapes out there, and I am going to be concentrating on the main body shapes, which are the inverted triangle, the triangle or pear shape. Sometimes it's named after a fruit, sometimes it's named after a shape. The circle or apple shape, the hourglass shape, and the rectangle shape. And also, I'll be going through whether you are long, short torsoed, or in proportion as well. So stay tuned for all of that. So let's get started. You will need your tape measure, and the measurements that you're taking today will be your shoulders, the fullest part of your bust, your natural waist, and your natural hips. So, when it comes to measuring your shoulders, you want to get your tape measure, and you can do this yourself, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to take this measurement yourself. And make sure that you don't do this and twist your tape measure. You want to be wearing clothes that are fitted, and you want to measure around your shoulders. To the very top of your shoulders, and take the measurement. You then want to be measuring the fullest part of your bust. Now, I will put my measurements in the comments below for those people that are interested in what my measurements came out at. And you take the fullest part of your bust, write that figure down. You then want to take where your natural waist is, and that doesn't automatically mean at the belly button. It's where your waist nips in the most. So you want to take that measurement too. And then you want to take your natural hip measurement. So I'm going to stand on my tiptoes, cut my head off so you can see where my natural hips are, which you can see just there. So your tape measure wants to be taught for all of these measurements. So once you have all these measurements, what do we do with them? Well, this is where we use them to calculate your body shape. So you've now got these 4 figures written down, and ideally, why do we need these 4 figures? Like I said previously, it is ideal so that you know what shape's going to work with your body type, but also when it comes to shopping and especially buying online, it really helps when it comes to using their size charts. Let's not forget, you can also be a combination of different body types. This is just a guide. Do not get yourself too hung up on what the measurements say. Just take it as a guide, and I will be doing videos to follow in this series that show different styles that suit the different body shapes. So the first body shape is the triangle or pear shape, which is, ladies, the most common body shape out there. So if you imagine a triangle, narrow at the top, wider at the bottom. And the easiest way to work out if you are this shape, once you've taken your shoulder and your bust measurement, is your shoulder measurement 2 inches smaller than your hip measurement. So an example of this would be your shoulders measure, I don't know, 36, and your hips measure 38. That would be a classic sign that you are a pear, because there is 2 inches difference, which is the easiest way to work this out. Now, you can also use your bust measurement. So, is your bust measurement 4 inches smaller than your hips? So, is your bust measurement 34 and your hip measurement 38? That would be the classic example of being a pear shape. The next one on the list is the inverted triangle. So it's the opposite way round. So your shoulders are somewhat broader than your hips. And again, we're going to use the 2 inches, 4 inches method. So are your shoulders 2 inches broader than your hips? Is your bust measurement 4 inches broader than your hips, or more than your hips? That's the way ideally that you will know if you are that inverted triangle. And as I said previously, this video, I'm not going through what styles suit you. This is just to give you an idea of what shape or size or type you are. So the next type on the list is the circle, or you might have heard it referred to as the apple. So you tend to carry all of your weight around your middle. You guessed it. Is your middle 2 inches bigger than your shoulders and your hips? If it is, you are a classic apple or circle shape. On the list is the rectangle. Now, the rectangle is as it sounds. It's pretty much straight up and or down. And with this shape, you will notice that your measurements are very, very similar. Not ideally the same, but very similar, because we are all different and there is room for a little bit of difference here. But mainly, do you notice when you look at your waist in the mirror that you don't really have a defined waist or hips and that you just go straight up or down? That would be your rectangle. Now, if you do have a defined waist, then you come into the category of the hourglass figure, which is the figure that is the most coveted and the figure that we're all trying to achieve. And with the hourglass figure, what you will notice is that your shoulders and hips are pretty much the same measurement, as are your bust, and your waist nips in by 8 inches. This is what gives you that hourglass, hourglass figure. So if this is you, then this is the shape that lots of women, lots of the fashion industry are aspiring to be. So lucky you. The next and final thing that we want to do, now we've got all of the shapes, because they are the main shapes. And don't forget, you can be a combination. And if you are plus size, if you are, as I call it, fuller figure, if you are petite, or if you're tall, you can also be one of these body shapes. But what about our torsos? How do we know if we're long or short torsoed? Again, this is really helpful when it comes to styling ourselves and choosing clothing that's going to work for us. Well, there is an easy, quick tip for this. It involves just your hands, and all you need to do is we're going to stack our hands one above the other. Now, find where your bra naturally finishes, so just under your bust. And then you want to stack both hands one on top of the other. Now, I should pull my top up so you can see my belly button. So you want to stack one hand on top of the other. If, like me, you can see my belly button completely disappears, this means that you are short torsoed. If this happens to you, then that's fine. It's not a problem. It's just telling you where your waist is and what kind of torso you have. So if, for instance, this happens and your hand stops just above your belly button, like so, then you are proportionate. If this happens, so it's all the way up here, this would mean that you are long torsoed. So I hope this gave you an idea of what shape you are. If you want to put it in the comments below what shape you are, did you know you were that shape? Has it come as a shock to you? That would be wonderful. Thank you for watching. Until next time, thank you and goodbye.